It is truly over for the cat, once regarded as one of the best DPS in the game, but he has pretty much been phased out of almost every single content once you're in endgame. With all of the new DPS that we've gotten lately, Tevor has been phased out of Falsetto Fantasy, and now even in the one area that he's really good in, Desolate Lands. So for Shadowfire, Sloan is now just a way better DPS than Tevor. One big thing is because there is a buff for Shadowfire that allows Flow Espers to deal significantly increased damage to Shadowfire. Again, running the same team but with Tevor instead of Sloan will yield you a lot lower damage. I'll show you in a bit. But yeah, these are the relics. I have Thunder set on her. Shanpin is on the relief set. Liam on just fast set. If you do have R2 or R6 Liam, you're gonna want him to be DPS build. Chu Yao on the Astral set, just a lot of speed. Fatum Sisters is gonna be on the Harmony set because they pretty much don't need the Potion set because they will be spamming their S2. And then Alice will be on the relief set. The 2P set doesn't really matter, but I have a pretty fast Avatara, so I just gave it to her. And as for the positioning, you want it to be exactly like this, or you can do it something like this. The 2 bottom row doesn't really matter, but the first 4 is going to matter a lot because the thing with Alice is that her S1 assist, the chance to assist increases as further left you are on the ordering right here. So you want Sloan to have the highest attack to assist, so put her on the farthest left. And then the second one you want Shanpin because when she assists, she will also call in a random ally for assist. And then Liam is a DPS, so you want him to be assisting as well. But not only that, you also want him to get AP push because if you do have R6 Alice, then she's gonna provide 20% AP push for the assisting ally. And then you want Chu Yao also on the front instead of the Fatum Sisters because you want him to assist more so that he can get more AP than the Fatum Sisters. Alright, let's do a few blitz. This team scores pretty high. The higher the resonance you have on Sloan, the better. You don't need R4. R3 is like the best you can get her, or R5. The reason why you don't need R4 is because you can't debuff the boss. But the fact that her passive just does a lot of damage, you don't really need to debuff the boss. She's already doing more damage than Tevor. And there it is, we got a 70 million average. My best is around, I think, 79 million. Let me just switch out to Tevor. Alright, now we're on Tevor with the exact same set that I gave Sloan. And the score will barely hit like 70 million. Because again, he's not doing as much damage as Sloan. There we go, not even like 30 million. We're at 20 million. 16 million, yeah, it's pretty bad. 12 million, okay. And keep in mind, I have my Tevor at D4, max skilled up as well. Whereas my Sloan is only at D1. So I'm missing a lot of stats on Sloan. Yeah, pretty bad. Not even consistent EX++. The thing with R2 Sloan is that her freeze on allies will now be changed to speed down, right? But if you don't have her R2, what you want to do is you want to equip all of your units with a resist main stat and give them as much resist as possible as well. Alright, I've given all of my units as much resist as possible, and let me just show you what happens. All of them have 100% resist. And another important thing, you want Sloan to have the least amount of accuracy as possible because her debuff on your allies accounts for her accuracy and also the allies resist as well. Let me just do a couple of runs and you'll see every single time that Sloan S3, my allies will just resist them. Yeah, that's one way you can circumvent her debuffs on all of your allies. Just give your allies as much resist as possible and they won't be frozen or speed down. There we go. Full bot resisted as well. One last try. And there we go. Full bot resist. Again, it works for R0 or R2. Just make sure that you have her S3 maxed out so that her eidetic buff is at a higher uptime. Let's do a few more blitz just to see if we can break a high score. Yeah, my high score is 97 million with this team. Unlucky, couldn't break the high score, but let's just take a look at the 86 million run. Now the thing with Tevor is that all of his substitute, like for most of the contents, are not really pay to win. I mean, some of them are really pay to win, right? But for Desolate Lands, like for example in Shadowfire, you only need R0 Sloan, you don't need her resonance or anything. And then for like Shadow Stream, the better substitute for Tevor is going to be Lu Yi. He's like an epic Esper. And then for Shadow Gale, you can use Chloe, you can use Brewster, which are all like pretty much free to play friendly. And then for Shadow Glow, you would just need R2 Daji, and then you'll do infinitely better than what Tevor would give you. Tevor is still really good at R6, but that's only at R6. At R5, he's still like not really that good, because again, he's not getting the bonus of the additional increased damage that you get from Shadow Fire or any of the Shadow bosses. But I think it's still worth it to build, especially if you just started out the game. If you just started out the game and then you pulled a Tevor or something from Gold Records, it's still worth it to build him because he is a unit that can work for all 4 of the Desolate Land bosses. So building him allows you to use him in all 4 of the Desolate Land bosses. But once you reach like mid to end game, where stamina is not really your bottleneck anymore, you can use your stamina for EXP farming. Then at that point, Tevor will start falling off from your account because you can build specific DPS for each of the specific bosses, right? And like I said, Sloan is not really pay to win. You can get her for free. You just need 1 copy of her. And then Ggez as well, you just need her to be at R2 to compete in Shadow Glow. Sloan is doing like 200,000 with each pursuit that she does. 240,000, something like that. Whereas if you were to run Tevor, his pursuit would do about 70 to 80k max. Especially if you don't have his R2, then you're gonna have to build him with a lot of crit rate as well. And there we go, we got 4.2 million in Shadow, or even higher, 4.5 million. And she did 79 million by herself. Yeah, I don't even use Tevor in Shadow Stream anymore. I'm using Luyi instead with the relief set, and it does a lot more damage than Tevor. Even in Shadow Gale. But Shadow Gale is a little bit more pay to win because R6 Relief is just a cheat code. But Ggez is not really pay to win, you just need her to be at R0, which you can get for free, and she will work just fine, right? I don't even use him in Shadow Glow anymore because he just doesn't really work that well. I just copied this one from one of the leaderboard formation, and it works pretty well. If you don't have an R6 Ggez, it's going to be better. If you have like R5 Ggez, that's going to be the best because you can run the Tevor comp like this one, something similar to this comp, and it will score much better than this team. If the rewind event comes around, I think I might rewind my Tevor because I don't use him anywhere in the game anymore. Not in Falsetto Fantasy, not in Ritual Miracle, not even in Desolate Land bosses anymore. But again, if you do have him at R6, he's still going to be very good. But if you're a new player, then Tevor is still going to be very good for you because he can be used for almost any content that you want to bring him in. But again, once you reach like mid to end game, he's going to be swapped out for a better DPS at this point. But yeah, that's about it. Ciao.